Okay, good morning, everyone. We'll call this Ellis County Commission meeting to order. All capable, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Will the clerk please call roll?
Commissioner Neil Younger,
Present.
Chair Nathan Liker,
Here.
Commissioner Michael Burgess.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Are there any changes to the order of business to make note of? Okay, we will have 2 executive sessions at the end of the meeting. Moving on, prior minutes from January 7th and January 9th. Any questions on those?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on with our consent agenda.
Everything looks good there to me.
Okay,
Good. I'll move to approve consent agenda items A through G.
I'll second that.
we have a motion and a second for the consent agenda. All those approved, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, consent agenda is approved. At this time, persons from the not on the order of business, anybody from the public wish to speak? I guess we have to have some first. Okay. Next, we have our reorganization.
Morning, Commissioners. Darren Myers, County Administrator. The first thing, well, I guess technically the fifth thing here to take care of today is the reorganization from the County Commission. As each of you know, these were presented to the Commission for review over the month of December, and continue to fill up, make contacts to make sure everybody was going to want to fulfill the appointments that were on here. And the last one that was on there was the Ellis County Representative to the United Way Board, which is, we do have a volunteer that's listed on there. So it takes several motions to go through all the different appointments to the Commissioner's chair, the vice chair, the appointments that the commissioners actually hold throughout the county, and then all of our newspapers and banks and all of that. So they're all 5 motions are there for the commissioners to work through and can help out if there's any questions needed.
Okay. Commissioners, we have any discussion on the appointees or changes?
I have none.
I don't have any.
I would like to say thank you to everybody who's volunteered to step up onto the board. Excuse me. Okay. Well, at this time, I will move the commission appoint Michael Burgess as chair of the Board of County Commissioners for the year 2025.
I will second that.
I have a motion. Is there any discussion on that?
I'm not sure. I've heard about all the signatures. I'm not so sure. Appreciate it.
Okay. With no discussion or further discussion, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I'll move to the commission appoint Neil Younger as vice chair of the Board of County Commissioners for the 2025 year.
I will second that. Okay, with that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Let's see here. Make sure we do these right. I moved the commission appoint Neil Younger to the Northwest Kansas Community Corrections and Juvenile Services Board, Nathan Liker to the High Plains Mental Health Board, myself, Michael Burgess, to the Ellis County Library Board, and myself, Michael Burgess, to the Workforce One CEOB for 2025.
I will second that. Okay. Well, with no other discussion, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion is approved.
Okay, I move number 4, suggested motion language to commission designate official depositories, IECs, IESs, County newspaper, regular meeting days, times, and Ellis County, Kansas Public Building Commissioner Directors listed below as recommended by staff for 2025.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next,
Okay. Number 5, I move the commission approve all the recommended appointments as specified below for 2025.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Congratulations to everybody who has been appointed and stepped up and remained. So, at this time, I will turn it over to Chair Burgess.
Just a jerk. Okay, first item under my direction is a review of the monthly financial report. Any comments or thoughts from the commission on that? Can't get mine to pull up.
I have none.
I have none. All looks good.
Okay. I'm having technical difficulties. Here we go. And moving on to item 7, Victim Witness Coordinator job description. And I'll invite new county attorney Aaron Cunningham to the dais to speak on this topic.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Good morning.
Aaron Cunningham, Ellis County Attorney. It's nice to be able to finally just say that without an elect afterwards or an anticipated in front of it. So, as you're all aware, I took office yesterday morning, and in doing so, there are several changes to our personnel and structure among the legal assistants in our office. One thing that I've done is I've reinstated an office administrator position because I think it's helpful for the office structure. I've moved Laura Jensen into that role. And then additionally, I have rehired Colleen Domi, who was with our office briefly last year and has agreed to rejoin us now that she has resigned from the Hayes Police Department. We're excited to have her back in a kind of a charge assistant role where she's going to help streamline the process for attorneys preparing complaints and affidavits. And then it's anticipated she'll transition into a full legal assistant role when our new hire comes on in August, assuming he passes law school and the bar in the coming year. But the real reason I'm here today is to update you, I guess, on the role of Abby Anderson, which is before you for the Victim Witness Coordinator position. And one thing I did learn pretty quick in leadership is you should always delegate to a more competent person to do the jobs you probably couldn't do as well. And so I'm actually going to have Abby come forward with your permission and address the commission about what this role would all entail.
Welcome, Abby.
Thanks, guys. Abby Anderson, transitioning into the Victim Witness Coordinator position, was a legal assistant with the County Attorney's Office for just a little over a year, so happy to be here. Essentially, a Victim Witness Coordinator provides some system-based advocacy for victims, something that we, as legal assistants, we're trying to juggle amongst everything we're asked to do amongst the attorneys. And now having this dedicated role will give attention to victims of crime. I'm going to work with juvenile cases, misdemeanor, felony cases, any victims associated with those crimes. I'll essentially act as a liaison between that victim and the attorney themselves, helping set up meetings for hearing prep, evidentiary hearings, trials. I'll help manage restitution requests and manage expectations when it comes to restitution. I'll create and manage all of the notifications and the communications we have with these particular individuals in our office. So this type of advocacy is incredibly important. Prosecuting attorneys rarely have time to give attention to victims of these cases. cases. We need someone like me to kind of demystify the criminal justice process for these people, help them through the processes, make them feel more comfortable when they're on the stand. And I truly think that having a dedicated person like me can help mitigate any confusing or frustrating processes for them. Another element of this is I'm going to be doing some grant research to help maybe fund this position. There are grants out there such as the Victims of Crime Act or VOCA grants that I can research and apply for to hopefully help pay and justify my job, which would be great. And the idea of this type of advocacy, lastly, isn't new. It actually used to be mandated to have a victim witness coordinator in each prosecuting office. That law has since been rescinded, but it's still very common across prosecuting attorneys' offices to have a victim witness coordinator. So I'm really excited to get started. Thank you so much for your time.
And just to build on that, we have already formed a partnership with Fort Hays, who is undertaking some grant efforts, pursuing things related to victim advocacy. Abby Anderson is the perfect person for this job. She obviously has a very warm and welcoming personality, but what makes her very valuable is her experience in the legal system, in part because of her relation with our prior county attorney. She's very well versed at setting expectations for victims and walking them through that process. Obviously, adding this position isn't something that was budgeted for, and that's why we're before you today to make this request. And looking at the budget, and I've run the numbers with Darren, or I should say Darren ran the numbers and explained them to me very generously. It is financially doable, certainly for this budget year, because our fourth attorney will not be joining the office until at least August, and so we have the remainder of his salary, which was budgeted for, that we can dedicate, and we'll still have plenty left over. So we're not asking for any additional funding or money at this time. We are just asking for approval of the position to exist, although obviously I anticipate, short of us coming up with grant funding, come the next budget cycle, we will need to ask for some more funding to keep that position. So with that, I would ask for you to consider the motion to approve the Victim Witness Coordinator job description and the position with the County Attorney's Office.
Very good, thank you for the explanation. Commissioners, it's there for you. Today, we got a job description, motion in front of us. Any questions to the county attorney about the position and potential impact in 2026?
Well, looking forward with your current caseload, do you anticipate it to increase, therefore having this position more necessary?
I anticipate that we will be able to focus more on person-involved crimes with this position. I think there's some hesitancy with our office to get too involved in some of those because they can be so time-consuming because of all the meetings we have to have with victims. Otherwise, balls get dropped, people don't get informed of court dates and things like that. As I've said, I think consistently, I would anticipate a drop in our case numbers for the first 8 months, certainly, of my term. But once we're fully staffed again with that fourth attorney, I do believe that we'll see those numbers rebound pretty aggressively.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, I see it as a good position because all of us in here were all young and we were in trouble at one time. So, yes, I do see this as a plus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Was this job description already a part of description, or is this just a new for this position at this time?
Correct. It's a new job description. We sent over I think we started with the legal assistant and then Mr. Cunningham, and I think Jennifer helped review it as well, and they worked on it.
And within our policy, can we have a job description that's not essentially filled, so?
Correct. It's just the position that the commissioners budget for, that we have job descriptions that aren't like a custodian one or a custodian position. We don't have a custodian, but we did kind of plan ahead to have some job descriptions that give us flexibility into the future.
Okay. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. If worst case scenario, as we're going through budget process, if we can't essentially fill the position, let's say just 2026, the job description stays there, and if things kind of codify later, 2027 or 20, it could be filled per budget per year, as long as the job description's there for that position.
Correct. And with the elected officials' offices that we do have, they can move those numbers around within their authority as other elected offices. They, if Mr. Cunningham wanted to hire 3, he could do so as long as he tries to stay and maintain within his budget.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion?
Well, with that, I will move to approve the Victim Witness Coordinator job description for the County Attorney's Office.
I'll second that.
We got a second and a motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
And I will take off to get to my 9:30. I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem, thank you. Don't forget your purse.
Hey, that looks good on you, Aaron. Oh,
Can't read Roman numerals. Item 8, county inventory, department inventory report. Bobby Dryling.
Bobby Dryling, Ellis County Clerk. Every year, the county clerk's office sends out to every department a list of the inventory that we have currently listed in CIC. In turn, they will either update it with what's already in there is good, or they will take items off, or they will then add items back in, and then they send them back to the clerk's office for me to get approval from you, or to sign off on the inventory report. And if you have any questions on that, you can direct those to Darren.
Okay.
No, do you have any questions?
I guess my question would be, when was, is it gonna include some of the new stuff that's at our new Public Works facility?
I don't think it does yet. Will that be next year, Darren, or
Yeah, they got all that done.
did they?
And
Okay,
then, well, this was done in December, correct?
yes.
I'm not sure when they actually turn theirs in, but that'll probably be something that would be a good thing for this time next year for them to go through and reanalyze. I know for our insurance, we had to go through and get estimates on contents, values for the contents of the building. But we should probably update this now this year once they get settled in. And I know they have some equipment that they would like to list on Purple Wave that's no longer used. And
Okay,
so, yes, I'll make sure that happens.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just had a comment when I signed it, because it's a stack of about 400 pages.
Yeah.
We just sign it as commissioners once, but glancing through it, each department head also signs off, so they're essentially responsible for the inventory. That's where we're reporting as we sign off on the total report, correct?
Correct, right. Yeah, each department head has to sign off that what they're signing to is what they have in their inventory or taking out of their inventory.
then as far as some of the stuff that they want to put on Purple Wave, Darren, is it specifically have a number on it, like a unit number, or say if it's a, whatever, a drag, that if one of us commissioners want to look and say, why are we getting rid of it? Is it all labeled or numbered pretty good?
There's no, many years ago, Ellis County used to have, I would say decades ago, we used to have stickers for
Okay.
inventory purposes that had numbers, and I think a lot of that had to deal with items from Homeland Security and different grant management issues like radios and such. But everything's just listed in here.
Okay.
But before they would sell anything on Purple Wave, they do have to bring it to the commission and get commission approval first, so that way you would at least know what it is, and yes, you could go out there and take a look at it.
Okay.
I'm sure if you called Brendan, I know it was sitting out at the old site, because we didn't know when we were gonna have to move, and then when the Purple Waves auction would be, so they had it sitting, but they did move it up to the new facility to get all of our equipment off the old property.
All right.
So if you did want to reach out to him, he knows what it is, and it's probably separated up there somewhere. He can let you know what it is, but I haven't gathered a list yet from all the departments of what could be sold.
All right.
Who has access to the CIC to actually mark the inventory?
Each department has a delegated person. Like for our office, I have Lyle and Chris that take care of it for the fire and emergency management. I'm not sure if Mike or Lori, or if they delegate somebody. Mike's pointing to Lori, so it's probably a little different for each department based on who does it. And this is all by statute, that the county does this every year. And each county is a little bit different based on policy on what is to be recorded. When we started this, well, we didn't start this 5 years ago, but I remember once Phil left and in about 2020 was in the first year, we used to have like pencils and things in there that was kind of immaterial to be inventoried, but we've tried to improve this over the years to make sure the items on there that are actually correct, and then clarify what the policy states as to, for instance, it says anything that's valued at $2,500 or more is listed on this. However, there's different items within the departments. For instance, the pager that I carry on my side, it's a $500 pager for the fire service, but we have about 120 of them. So collectively, those are inventoried that way. Same thing as like a computer. Computer, $1,000, $1,200 but we have, I don't know, probably 200 and some. That's why it's in there. But collectively, those things add up, and those are some of those differences on how we inventory and what determines as to what is on there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'll move to approve the attached Ellis County 2025 inventory report.
I
Second.
was-
Second.
Okay.
There's been a motion and a second on the inventory report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and no opposed. Gonna have to rework this thing slower than I anticipated it being. Item 9, Office 365 license renewal. Mike Liker, IT Director.
Morning, Mike Liker, IT Director. First, thank you for reappointing me for another year. I appreciate that. I have two items. This first one is Office 365 renewal, license renewal. This is for Microsoft Office. That covers everything from Word, Excel, Outlook for email, all of the Office suite of products for the entire agency. It's an annual renewal that we budget for. This year, the cost for the renewal, I have $42,624. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, $42,624 for another year. I'd stand for any questions.
Mike, I think I've asked you this in the past. The reason we go through a third-party company such as Liftoff is because, why?
Oh, well, we use Liftoff. We used them when we first migrated from Lotus Notes to Microsoft Office 365 because it was such a challenging and labor-intensive project. And then they continue to provide support throughout the year. Anytime we have a problem with Microsoft Office or 365, we can call on them and they help us work through those issues much easier than if we were to go through Microsoft directly. There's a lot deeper pile of people to go through with Microsoft to get answers and support. So I know that the City of Hayes also uses Liftoff now, and we've seen a lot of useful information come from them throughout the year as far as doing migrations or upgrades and things like that. So that's the primary reason we go through Liftoff, is their continued support throughout the year.
Okay, thank you.
And that does make it easier on our employees, correct?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't have any questions for you. Pretty
Okay.
standard operation.
Well, with that, I'll move to approve PO number 7853 for Microsoft Office 365 license renewal in the amount of $42,624 to Liftoff.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second on the table for the 365 license renewal. All those in favor say aye.
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 Passes 3-0, no opposed. Continue on, Mike,
Thank
CIC software renewal.
I have one more question before we move on. I know the 4 years that I've been in here, and we all said it gradually increases. What's it increased over the last 4, just a guesstimate? And if not, you can get it to me. some
Lori
other-
might have a better idea of, I'm gonna put her on the spot too. Do you have an idea?
On Office 365.
Yeah,
It increases as we add employees.
Okay,
As we're adding more employees, we have to purchase an additional license. So I would have to go back and pull
Okay.
those numbers, but I'll be happy to get those to you.
yeah,
Even the last 4 years.
yeah.
I
That'd
would
be
add that
interesting
number.
just to see. I know we all said it at every meeting when it comes up that it gradually, but we need it, so.
yeah, our increases primarily, as Lori said, are for an increased number of licenses for additional staff. The rate for Microsoft Office 365 hasn't significantly gone up. It went up from 23 to 24, and that was something we knew about. It was about a, I don't know, a 7 or 8 it wasn't that much, 3% maybe, but that was anticipated. Microsoft let everybody know well in advance of that. So anytime there's any significant increases from Microsoft, they usually give us advance notice on that. So our increases are like, excuse me, like Lori said, are primarily for increased number of licenses.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The next item is the CIC Annual Peopleware Agreement Renewal. This is the same thing we've been doing every year for our annual license and maintenance for CIC, which is our ERP solution, everything from financial to payroll, tax reporting, even the records management for the Register of Deeds, the whole suite of ERP solution. It's an annual renewal. The cost did not go up significantly, if at all. It's $65,195. That's pretty close to what it was last year. So I don't see there wasn't any significant changes there, so it's just another renewal.
Any questions, Commission, on the CIC renewal?
I have
I
none.
have none.
Thank you.
Pretty much have to approve it because we can't operate
Pretty
without it,
much,
right?
yeah. It's kind of just one of those things we go through, just so the commission is aware of how much we pay for that. Probably one of the largest single pieces of software solution that we use, next to the public safety. Those are probably the 2 largest packages, and that they run about the same as far as expenditures every year, so.
Is there other ones out there besides the CIC?
Yes, there are several out there. I have a matrix I'm working on that lists about a dozen that are comparable and, both in function and in cost. So kind of looking at that, seeing what
Okay.
else is out there.
Okay.
Okay, I move to approve PO 7858 for the CIC Peopleware Agreement in the amount of $65,195 to CIC.
I'll second that.
There's motion and a second on the table for CIC Peopleware Agreement renewal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No opposed. Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Item 11, Brown Property Tax Abatement, presented by County Council Bill Jeter.
You have in front of you, County Councilor Bill Jeter, I'm sorry. You have in front of you resolution number 01, which relates to an application filed by Richard and Janice Brown, who had their residential property destroyed by fire on January 20th of 2024. There is a statutory process pursuant to KSA 79-1613, which allows for property tax relief in the event of the destruction of your improvements on real property. This destruction occurred by reason of fire. Since the destruction, the Browns went ahead and paid their taxes. So according to the statute, they're entitled to a tax credit, which would be in the amount of $1,281.68. And the decline in their property value would stay until such time as they complete, if they do, more improvements on their property.
Okay.
So I'm requesting, based on that application, which is in order, that resolution be approved.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions, thoughts, concerns from the commission?
I have none.
I have none. That's a tragic thing. Just luckily nobody was killed, so.
With that,
Don't have any questions, okay, it's following state statute. There's no, and I don't see it on here, but a lot of times when you apply for things, you got a filing fee or something. They didn't have to pay a filing fee. or
I don't
anything.
believe so, no.
Okay.
okay.
And with this, the county, I've had this discussion a little bit with Darren last night, but it's state statute, but we don't really have an obligation to inform. I mean, this doesn't happen very often. Oh, somebody's place burns down, we don't have an obligation to actually inform them that this statute exists and that they can, and without obligation, but should we have an obligation, I guess is kind of the thought I have.
I think that could be a process that we could visit about internally. I know when something like that happens, just because of my relationship to being on something for a disaster, it has been discussed with homeowners. I wouldn't say all the time. They got a lot going on during the time of when their house is burning, but throughout the process, we do try to have communications with the appraiser's office because they'll go out and do the appraisals of the property. So that way, usually when that happens afterwards, that's after either, a flood, a disaster, a tornado, things like that could happen, that this would also impact. But the appraiser's office could make those communications as well.
Yeah.
People don't think about it, but it's listed on our website for the application to be filled out at any time. But, yeah, I don't think we necessarily have the obligation, but I think we try to at least make an effort that once we know something happens like that, we try to let them know. We can't, I don't know if we could, I guess doesn't necessarily make them, but I guess if it were to happen again, we could always bring it to the commission and ask the commission if you would like to proceed, but we wouldn't have an application necessarily that the individual property owner would fill out first, like this process presented to you today.
I just think about it, it's one of those things why I kind of like serving, and because you learn about things like this that I don't know if I would have, my house burned down, I don't know if I would have thought about it. I probably would have thought about it when I paid taxes. You get kind of ticked off that you're paying taxes on something that's not there, so I assume they kind of figure it out over time, or insurance agents may know and those kind of things, but again, I don't know if I would have thought about it at all, so. But with that, there's a action or an item on the table.
Yeah, I will move to approve Resolution 2025-01 for the abatement of property taxes due to a fire at the Brown Homestead per KSA 79-1613.
I will second that.
There's a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion? With that, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Michael?
I will say that he is rebuilding. I don't know if anybody's been out there, but he's doing and trying to do the most that he can himself. There's some other people volunteering to help him, so what a good community effort for people helping when something like this happens. So that kind of, like Michael said, that would I ever think of that if my house burns down? Well, now, like you said, that's a good point to bring that up, to do it internally for future.
Future stuff.
So,
Yeah, we know.
okay.
With that, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, passes 3-0. Item 12, GAP Standards Resolution 2025-2, to waive generally accepted accounting principles standard resolution presented by Darren.
Morning, Commissioners. Again, each year in January, per state statute, we are to identify the state of Kansas on the way we operate on a cash basis law or different scenarios that could happen. And each year, I've had on here since 2004. That's well before I was with Ellis County, but it's probably been that way for a very long time. The commission needs to decide if we wanted to continue with the cash basis law or, and waive the standards for the general accepted accounting principles. If we were to not do this, in speaking with the auditors, several things would have to change on the way we do business. Is a lot more reporting, we'd probably have to have some financial accounting positions, and so that would, more personnel, more cost, more time, as well as the audit itself would change, and the expenses for the audit would also increase. So, in simple terms, I guess, the way we operate is cash in, cash out. We can't spend more than what we have. If we do, then we have budget violations that we have to report and could be impacted by the state of Kansas. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I keep looking at Nathan because I'm
No, I'm in the middle.
in the middle and used to him being the chair, so I'll try to switch. Get used to it today, and then you'll move
Yeah,
next
I'll be
week,
back
and I'll be
next
off
week.
again.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the explanation there for commissioners. Any thoughts or comments?
This is something that a number of different government organizations and elected organizations have, so I'm well aware of it.
Yeah, you said a mouthful, Darren, when you said if we switch around, it's gonna be more cost associated with it. It's been working good for us, so I feel just leave it alone and move forward.
No, I can also add too, if anybody is watching, we're fully 100% transparent with every expenditure down to the penny from every single department and every single fund. It's all accounted for in the CIC system. It's annually audited still we use Adams Brown upstairs, but we're audited to the penny. Every single expense, every single piece of revenue is down to the penny, and that can be printed off at any given time throughout the year.
Okay.
I move to adopt the resolution 2025-02, waiving the gap standards.
I'll second it. Okay.
There's a motion and a second on the table to waive the generally accepted accounting principles. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, passes 3-0. Item 13, Rural Opportunity Zone Resolution 2025-3, presented by Darren Myers.
The Rural Opportunity Zone, or ROZ, is a program with the Kansas Department of Commerce. The commission has approved being a part of the Rural Opportunity Zone for now, I believe this is the third year, as actually being in the ROZ program, but this would be the second year that the commission would approve funding for the Rural Opportunity Zone. The commission did budget $15,000 for that, and that would be enough to have 10 different individuals a part of being accepted. The application process goes through the state of Kansas. They make all the determinations, file all the paperwork, communicate with the individuals from essentially probably November of last year all the way through about September of this year. That's the application process. And then come September-ish, the they close down the application process for about a month and finalize everything, send the counties a bill, and then we pay that. For last year, we also had $15,000 budgeted. The commission approved $15,000 to be budgeted. We had 2 RAWS applicants. Well, many RAWS applicants, only 2 approved by the state of Kansas. So with that, 3,000 of this 15,000 that is budgeted will have to continue 4 or 5 years. And then if we do get more applicants through the time, the commission can either approve more funding or keep it the same and not allow additional funding for more applicants. So this year, we basically have 15,000, which is 10 slots. 2 of those are filled, so we potentially could have up to 8 more applicants be approved. And there are several in the process right now with the state of Kansas.
Okay. Any questions or thoughts from the commission?
I have none.
I have none.
I don't either. I'll move to adopt Resolution 2025-03 to recognize Ellis County as Rural Opportunity Zone as designated by the state of Kansas.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion?
No.
With that, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. No opposed. Passes 3-0. Item 14, elected officials, 2025 salaries, resolution 2025-04. Topic of 2025 salary adjustments, and County Administrator Darren Myers.
This item of discussion is for the changing of the steps for the elected officials. These include the commissioners, the clerk, the treasurer, the county attorney, register of deeds, and the county sheriff, which are all listed on the resolution. As the commission knows, through the process last year, we completed the pay study, and the commission set everybody on new grades and new steps, and decided to do the same for the elected officials, so that way everybody throughout the entire county was on the same system with the same equity and fairness, as the policy would state that in the beginning of the second pay period, I guess, of the new year, all employees will automatically progress to the next step within the pay plan. So that second pay period technically starts January 5th. We're in that pay period right now. So with the approval of the resolution, this would finish up that process to allow the HR department to move those elected positions to the next pay step in their pay grade.
Any questions from the commission?
I have none. If we feel our employees are to be on something, I feel we have no, we should do what we've set forth for our employees.
Yeah, I agree. Were these, I can't remember from last year and the year before, did we approve, like, for elected officials outside of this pay system that we've set up, or pay grade system, do we have to approve their salaries each year through this and make it public, or?
Anytime a elected official salary is changed, it goes through the county commission per resolution by statute.
Okay. So, well, I think it's fair enough that it's published here like this, and again, I agree with Nathan in that aspect of just setting that standard for the elected officials, and it includes us, so the public can see us on there too.
Mm-hmm.
Neil, anything? Okay.
No, and I think you guys all know that, and I've said it before, I didn't come in here to, get a big raise, but, it's not too often you get make a motion to give yourself a raise, but it's more the employees. Yeah, I do participate in a lot of different meetings, but, I'm good with it, so.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll move to adopt resolution 2025-04, setting salary step adjustments for the elected officials of Ellis County.
Seconded. There's a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? No. Passes 3-0. Item 15, personnel policy update. County Administrator Darren Myers.
I'm about done, I think. The last item here of discussion is the update to the personnel policy. It's somewhat of an update. The commission approved the PTO sellback, section 9.11, within the personnel policy. In the month of December, when all the updates for 2024 was brought to the commission for approval, I'm not sure if I, through the table of contents, accidentally deselected 911 or deleted it somehow or another, but it was not in the policy that the commission just approved, even though it was approved before then. So I just wanted to, for full transparency and make sure that there was no miscommunication or confusion, bring it back with it as part of the policy. No, there's no other changes throughout the entire personnel policy except for adding back in section 9.11. So I just wanted to make sure that it was in there and just eliminate any future confusion. That item is budgeted for the PTO that the individual employees have elected to sell back has already been moved into a separate line item within their paycheck for that payout, which I believe is April is when that is paid out.
Okay.
Any discussion from the commission?
I have none.
I have none.
I don't have any questions either.
I'll move to approve the attached personnel policy effective January 14th, 2025.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion? With that, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, passes 3-0. And county administrator report, so you're still going, Darren.
I have nothing this morning, thank you.
County commissioner reports, Neil?
Yes, I was at Judge Brown's retirement, a lot of people there. And also yesterday, the swearing in from 4 years ago to yesterday, full house, standing room only, due to the COVID years ago, which was a nice gathering yesterday. Also went to the Shenshin meeting last night. They're all good there, so usually they have something on the top of the deal. A couple of things I want to bring up for in the future. I've been approached by a couple different people, and we used to do it years ago, and I had visited with Darren and Justin on it. Some of the people who are in our community are wanting to see if we will do some kind of a tire thing again. Some of them are interested. You know, we used to do it, but it was state funded back then, but some of them are also in favor of paying possibly some of it to help, you know, clean up their place. And so that's something that we maybe want to approach. The other thing is going through all of our inventory. With the past snowstorm we had in our little communities, subdivisions. I know in Munzer, just with myself with the skid loader, and then we had a guy with a side-by-side. I just want to keep in mind, if possible, if we could maybe have one of our pickups set up with a blade on it to go through some of them. We had, 9 to 10 inches and a lot of wind, so if a side-by-side can do it in a small subdivision, then that's something maybe we want to consider, be able to get there a little sooner than a grader. So just something to think about. And I also do want to thank Mr. Burgess. He did a good job this morning, so that's all I have.
Okay.
Nate?
Well, I did attend the swearing in yesterday, and it was congratulations to everyone who was there and was sworn in, all of our elected officials. I know Bobby, Scott, Becky, myself, and Commissioner Younger all swore in, as well as our county attorney. So I just want to say congratulations to them. That's all I have.
Attended Judge Brown's retirement, I guess. Is it a bench? Is that what they call the judge's seat? So he retired basically from the bench. I think Darren and I talked to him a little bit. I think he still has a lot of work in him over the next few years. But congratulations to him and in the service he provided to our community. Along with that, thank you, Nathan, for serving as chair in the last year. Congratulations to our re-elected officials. I think that says a lot about the direction of our county, that there really wasn't much change at all. I think people believe and trust our process that we're working with the two commissioners, Bobby, Sheriff Brown, and Becky, being re-elected. And then I know we have a new attorney and a new judge, but I see that more as a handoff from the same team. So again, I think that gives me some confidence that our community really thinks our county's moving in the right direction. So those are my comments.
Okay.
We do have an executive session.
Okay. At this time, I move the Board of County Commissioners recess to executive session for 15 minutes under the following exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. Pursuant to the non-elected personnel matter exception, the subject to be discussed during the executive session is health director applications. Open session will resume at 9:50? No, 9:40, I'm sorry. Got to do my math, 9:40. Those in attendance, in addition to the Board of County Commissioners, are Bill Jeter, Jennifer Taylor, and Darren Myers.
Okay, I'll second that.
Yeah, motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Okay.
No opposed.
Did I need to?
have another executive session.
Okay. At this time, I move the Board of County Commissioners recess to executive session for 30 minutes under the following exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. Excuse me.
Oh, go ahead.
Pursuant to the non-elected personnel matter exception, the subject to be discussed during the executive session is a personnel matter. Open session will resume at 10:15. Those in attendance in addition to the Board of County Commissioners are Bill Jeter, Jennifer Taylor, Janet Schmidt, with the ability to call Administrator Darren Myers upon request.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
You too.
10:11. No decisions made. We're going to ask for an extension for 10 minutes, this time to include Darren Myers, County Administrator, to reconvene at 10:20.
Okay, second that.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye. 2020. No decisions were made. Regular commission meeting for January 14th, 2025 is adjourned at 10:20.
There you go.
Now,
To the reorganization of the commission. At this time, I'll appoint, or I move to approve Commissioner Burgess as president of the Public Building Commission.
And I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We'll need a vice president. Who wants to make-
yeah, I guess. Do we need vice president? I'll move to appoint Neil Younger as vice president of the Public Building Commission.
I will second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And I believe there's no further business.
And with,
Right. Oh, we need to approve the prior minutes. Everybody good?
I'll move to approve the prior minutes.
I'll second them.
We have a motion and a second to approve prior minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. With no further business, what?
May I ask a quick question, just while
Yeah.
Mr. Jeter's here? I don't remember which commissioner or member of the PBC asked me yesterday, but the intent of the future of the PBC.
Oh,
I thought we'd maybe just visit real quick about it while Mr. Jeter's here, but the PBC was to originally pull out bonds for the remodel of the Health Department, which used to be at Sixth and Main, the purchase of this building and the remodel, and then the somewhat for the courthouse, jail renovation, et cetera. All those bonds are paid off. So technically, we don't need the Public Building Commission because we have no bonds. There's nothing to approve. There's no payments, et cetera. So I guess it would be up to the members of the PBC is if we just have one meeting annually just to reorganize and keep the PBC going. But if, it's also up to the three of you if you would like to, not just dissolve the PBC for this point, but we'd have to go through a process to do that. And then if we were ever to do any more future building projects, we would have to reestablish the PBC. So I thought I'd at least bring that up for, if in case there's any other thought or question to it.
I'm good with doing an annual meeting.
I'm good with an annual meeting
No,
also.
you don't want their, it's only for buildings, correct? So if we bonded for a bridge or, I don't, some other project
Yeah,
outside of buildings.
That's correct. And I think to me, it would be easier just to keep the building commission going, because you never know when a project may come down the road. And then if you dissolve, then you'd have to reorganize all over again. And
Okay.
it's just easier to have an annual meeting, and if you
Yep.
don't have any business, then you don't have any business.
So is it,
You
is
go
it,
to the next year.
is it better to do it the first of the year like we have done now and then?
Yeah, I would do it.
This-
I would do it while you're
Okay,
reorganizing
that's,
everything else.
that was my, thing.
That way, it's easier to keep track of it.
yep, okay.
Sounds good. Okay.
Well, we don't have any business, so we'll adjourn the Public Building Commission for January 14th at 10:24.
That almost rivals Neil and I's fastest.